Welcome to the intro of Often Beats, where it's your host, Clint. And by host, I mean literally the only person on this because there's really not enough camera space for two, unless we have like two minions of Clint's, which there are not, because I don't have a twin brother. Because my mom probably wasn't fertile to have twins. It's probably best she didn't, for safety and population control and density and income at the time. So, welcome to Often Beat. Or if you reverse it like inverse function of a formula, beaten off. Wow, that really came off the wrong way or the right way, depending on if you're at an Asian spa, just dropping loads like Kamikaze and Hiroshima in 1942, or if you're just having a bad day. It happens to the best of us, right? But why did the alcoholic bee kill the other bee? Yes, you. No, you're wrong. It's because he was such a fucking buzzkill. Okay? In case you're wondering what I'm looking at, nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's nothing eventful in my room. Kind of like foreign policies and, Okinawa in 1942, which is, it happens. We all just drop bombs on each other, torpedoes, bombshells of, sweatshops and Adidas, Nike. We have all the brands. It's cool because life keeps going. We can't control everything, right? We can't. We just fucking can't. But you know what you can't control? You know what you can. You know what you can't. But more importantly, you can. You can't control the import and export expedition of the great landscape of this epidemic we have. Okay? I'm gonna get in a little bit and then we have a serious epidemic in this society, as you all know. We have a misdiagnosis of things. It's okay. We all want to feel we're taking care of something. We all want to feel something bigger than ourselves. But it's gotten too fucking far. It just has. So I'm going to give a little background story. I was talking to someone the other day, right? And, just asking basic questions, How was your day? Have any kids? And you know what their response was? Oh my God, I thought you would never ask. I actually have two. One's 3 and one's 7. I said, great, what's their name? One, they said Max. I'm like, was this a Goofy movie? The second one, they said Joey. Jooey. They said like Chewy, like Chewbacca. Chewy like Star Wars, but they put a J. So it sounds like you're doing slang for Jewish. But it's not. So I said, it's kind of weird. Don't you think it's kind of weird? But you know what? What people want to name their kids, not my business. And then I asked, what, can I see pictures? I think that's a normal question I ask if you want to see someone's kids. Like, oh, let me see how they've grown up since the last time I spoke to you. So they sent me a picture of both of the kids in the picture. And I said, I got the picture, and I said, no, I meant your kids, not your dogs. Although they look cute. They look nice. They look like they're smiling. They look like they just shit the bed, as all dogs do. But she's like, nah, LOL. These are my kids. And I had an epiphany. I had a strong epiphany. So I snapped. I fucking snapped. As any reasonable person would do. I snapped. I snapped like a Kit Kat, okay? I said, let me ask you something. Why do you call them your kids? She said, well, when you think about it, dogs are really like kids, you know? You have to make sure they're good at all times, make sure they're not running in the street, you know, so a PT cruiser doesn't run them over with other kids in it, because you don't want to traumatize all the kids in the cul-de-sac, do you? And then I said, well, yes, I would hope as a basic necessity you wouldn't let anything just run into the street, but I might question your home security system or your ability to take care of living things. But then, I said, let me ask you something. When you go to work, right, do you have to get a babysitter? She said, well, no, but when I go out of town, you know, I make sure someone comes and gives the dog a walk. Give them walks, of course, you know. Make sure to refill their, you know, pedigree and their Olroys. And if you're a piece of shit, the fucking Walmart brand. You know those brands are really bad for your dog. But neither here nor there today. I said, okay. So when you go out of town, if you were to have a 3-year-old kid and a 7-year-old kid, you don't just leave a bowl of oatmeal out and some oats. You don't just leave a freaking Halloween tray of fruit gushers or fruit roll-ups and Rice Krispie treats, do you? No, you don't. You just don't. It's not safe. It's not fun. You just can't. So, and she said, well, I don't know, because you've never taken care of a dog. You wouldn't know. Even though I grew up with 3 different dogs during my lifetime, and one had to be put down because across the street neighbor Jesse was a fucking bitch and ruined our basketball game and started messing with a dog that was named fucking Harley and was like, what are you gonna do, little boy? And he's like, this is what I'm gonna do, little boy. Bit his kneecap off. He bit like half his kneecap. You know what we had to do to our dog? Because his dad was a fucking vice principal at Bullard Middle School. We had to put him down. Jesse, if you are out there, I will put you down the way you made me put Harley down. So then we got a black lab named Marilyn, right? You know what my mom never did? She never put a bowl of food out for me. It just said, go there and eat out of the little milk canister like I'm a fucking hamster. You can't just... See, when you have a dog and animals, if you go out for the week, you know what you do? Have these massive spreads, these massive bowls, these refillable that automatically refill, make sure there's enough food for weeks. Have these big jugs of water for the dogs and animals. You give them a place to shit. We have litter boxes for dogs. You put some newspaper out in the garage. Call it a day. Then when you get home, rake that bitch in with a hoe. Not you girls, I'm talking about a hoe, you know? But see, you don't tell your kids to shit on newspapers, do you? You don't tell your little boy, your little girl to little shit in a litter box, do you? You don't just scoop their shit out and call it a day, do you? No. with your kids. You make them wipe their ass. You teach them things. It's called being a fucking parent. Moral of the story is, don't call your fucking dog or your fucking cat your fur baby or your baby or your kids. Because you know what's that's disrespectful to? Child services. They should take your fucking kids and put your kids down, I guess. Maybe put your kids down when they do something wrong, like they would when a dog bites a kid in the kneecap. That the kid provoked him because he threw a basketball at his fucking nose. But maybe I'm crazy because, you know what, I have the feelings of Harley like he is a kid. But maybe I'm just a kid inside still. Because maybe I've never grown up. I've never accepted it. I've never went to therapy for this. But that's for another day. As any normal show would do, it's about that time where I top this thing off with one of my grand original written poems. And what is going to be the poem for today? Let me see what your boys right here. I know. Alright, let's see. Derek Jackson. Ooh, that needs that's something within itself, if you know what I mean. Chief Jackson, what's happening? It seems a lot lately, don't you think? God, what a fucking douchebag. That dude, I know he at least caused one of my relationships from like 4 or 5 years ago. That goes without saying, because they would do nothing but post every time we have an argument. Gee, and every time we have an argument, 30 minutes later on Facebook, blah, 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 posted a video by Derek Jackson. Teen Jackson, what's happening? If a man doesn't know your worth, then you know what you do, you replace him with another man. Well, high value men, as Kevin Samuels was said. Whatever, I'm not gonna go on a tangent about him. Let's see. Obviously, I'm just kind of distracting you for the time being. Okay, we'll keep this one short and sweet. This one is called Doesn't That. If you're always chasing security, doesn't that make you insecure? If you're always buying products to make you better, doesn't that mean you sold out? If all your problems involve money like you claim, doesn't that mean when you talk about others, you're out of pocket? Ooh. Yes, yes. If time is money, doesn't that mean you still have to put a number on it? Ooh, you talk, boy. If you don't believe in climate change, does that mean you never go outside? This boy is really deep. If you listen to R. Kelly, doesn't that mean you love to pee on underage girls? If you listen to Chris Brown, doesn't that mean you love men hitting women from wall to wall? I guess that's why I still hear none of you ladies calling. If you love going to Macy's, doesn't that mean you just go there because you may see me? I know, some of you just want to punch me through this fucking camera. Don't worry, because it's over now. This one is over. Off and beat. I don't know whether to say out, but I'll just kind of say hello and goodbye.